Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends. Welcome to a monster analysis I am pretty sure you have all been waiting for. A monster analysis on Mr. Beast, and this is from the official SocialPoint forums, so it is confirmed he is going to be the free Legends Pass monster, while Tremor is going to be the Golden Legends Pass monster. So yes, every single player in Monster Legends is going to get the chance to get Mr. Beast completely free to play. Not to mention there's going to be a ton of events in the month of July to get cells to rank up this monster. So this is going to be fun. Let's check out the lore and then we'll go from there. Do you remember a creepy little monster named Avaricia? This monster's obsession with having it all started with gold. He started gathering it and not wanting to share it with anyone else. But then he moved to hoarding everything shiny, not only gold but also gems and mythic amber. Little did he know that accumulating large quantities of amber can turn against you. One night, while Avaricia counted his coins, his pile of amber broke apart, giving birth to a mythic monster, Mr. Beast. So, for those of you that don't know, Avaricia is the legendary monster with the highest gold production, the highest GPM. 335 gold per minute is what that monster can produce at level 100, which is crazy for a legendary monster. Alright, going back to Mr. Beast. The monster stretched out, looked around, and started approaching a terrified Avaricia, who walked backwards until hitting the wall behind him. Finally, Mr. Beast opened its mouth to say, "You have a bit too much in here, don't you?" Avaricia didn't answer. He was trembling. "You don't really need all of this, do you?" said Mr. Beast, but his question was met with more silence. "I'll take that as a no, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to empty the big golden pot of yours," which is literally the monster design, his back, "and then I'm going to take everything in this room except for what you need. Don't worry, you'll get to keep some coins to play with, but the rest of what you'll have here, I'm taking it and distributing it in a fair way. You're okay with that, right?" Avaricia couldn't even open his mouth. He was absolutely terrified by the presence of this massive creature. Mr. Beast smiled and finished the conversation saying, "Good, smooth negotiation, I like that. Pack all of this for me, will you?" And with that being said, that is the Monster Legends lore of how Mr. Beast came to be. By the way, this monster has the highest gold production for a mythic monster. He has the highest GPM actually in the game now, 425 gold per minute, which is insane. And according to this, Mr. Beast is a thunder tank with support skills. He can gain Mega Taunt in an extra turn or skill mirror and positive effects protection, which I really love. When we talk about this monster's skills, we're definitely going to go in depth into this. He can apply shock to all enemies. Mr. Beast has evolving trait at rank 0. He's hardened. At rank 1, he's immune to stun. And again, all of you guys are going to be able to get this monster unranked. So with the hardened trait, which is a nice umbrella trait, and then all of you should hopefully be able to get this monster at rank 1 with everything, all the events going on surrounding Mr. Beast. So you're even going to have him immune to stun, so automatically he's super useful against any mythic monster that can stun. And in rank 3, he helps his team even more. He gives life regen to every single teammate. And we've seen some monster, was it Siamese? It might have been Tremor. We've seen monsters that can even do double healing at the start of the battle, so it'll be interesting to see the kind of synergies that are going to form with new monsters that are going to be released. Alright, and with that said, it's time to talk about his stats. So Mr. Beast has a life stat of 61,828, which is a super impressive life stat. To be completely honest, this is the second highest life stat, tied with that of Urder. Thunder monsters gotta stick together. The only monsters that have a higher life stat than Mr. Beast and Urder are Brutalizer, Armor Claw, and Abysmus that have a life stat of 62,732. So this is very interesting because when considering this is a Mega Taunt monster, when compared to someone like Daedalus, who I know players are going to be making the comparison, Daedalus has a significantly lower life stat than mythic monsters. So Mr. Beast is super tanky, although the advantage of Daedalus is that Daedalus actually starts the game off with Mega Taunt, whereas with Mr. Beast, he needs to self-apply it. But then he has a really good skill because it's an extra turn skill, and then he can apply protection. So there's always going to be debates over who's the better Mega Taunt monster, so it's going to be interesting to see what players think about that. But yeah, he is one of the tankiest mythic monsters in the game. Moving on to his power stats, 5,632. This is impressive-ish. It's actually right around the middle. It's actually tied with that of Daedalus. So I guess it's not too bad. It's not too good. It's right around the middle with Daedalus. As for his speed, 4,609. Well, as usually is the case with super tanky monsters, he's rather slow. This is actually on the very, very slow end. Once again, tied with that of Urder. Thunder monsters gotta stick together. The only monsters that have a lower speed stat than Mr. Beast and Urder are Armor Claw and Unspeakable, who have a speed stat of 4576, as well as Brutalizer and Cawthor, who have a speed stat of 4488. So this is the third slowest stat for mythic monsters. Alright, but overall, he's a tank, so I think the life stat is what matters the most. The speed and power don't necessarily matter too much. With that being said, we already talked about his trait. Hardened is just a very good umbrella trait to have. Protection against possession and freeze and any negative effect 20% of the time. Stun immunity, it's permanent, so no mega stun, no stun. And then life regen for a tank, super useful to have. You gotta watch out for reverse healing, or especially, well, you gotta watch out for negate healing and especially reverse healing. But, I mean, this is great because even if you do get hit with the dots, your typical dot will be 15%, 10%, so life regen will still recover more than the damage you lose. So that could be awesome. And then, in terms of relics, this monster can hold the Mask Relic and the Banner. Part of me was hoping for a Revival Essence, but this is good because now we have an idea of what kind of relic we're going to be seeing, because anytime there's a free-to-play monster, there's also a new Diamond Relic that comes along with it. So are we going to be seeing a brand new Mask or a brand new Banner? If I had to guess, it would probably be the Banner, considering we recently got Dr. Watt's Mask. And I mean, overall, these are just really good relic slots for him. The Mask you can utilize so much, whether you have the Healing Mask, or whether you have some more advanced masks like Jastar's Mask, Eeltron's Mask, whatever you have at your disposal, definitely be sure to use it. The Banner, you can do Charging Banner if you never want to worry about stamina. You can do Darman's Banner if you happen to have a more competitive banner, and that'll even protect you against fire-based attacks, so the fire mythic monsters. So you have some really good options to choose from, and I'm curious to see what relic we'll see in the future. In terms of books, he's Good Legions, Superheroes, Adventures, and Exclusive. Alright, now we can talk about skills. Million Gems deals moderate thunder damage to an enemy, applies shock to an enemy. It is 35 damage, 0 cooldown, so spammable even if you get hit with CDA, and we are seeing a lot of CDA monsters in the game. 22 stamina cost. Let Me Help You deals low thunder damage to all enemies, 20 damage, 0 cooldown, 27 stamina, again, counter to CDA. However, these are basic attacks, they're not really gonna help you. Like, his main gimmick, his main shtick is to apply Taunt, specifically Mega Taunt. So yes, it's nice to have 0 cooldown skills, but realistically, you won't be using them that much. If anything, maybe that shock comes in clutch, and you can shock an enemy Nor and prevent the extra turns. So, I mean, don't completely count it out. Alright, moving on to Tier 1. Activate Notifications. Removes all negative status effects from itself and heals by 50%. I mean, this is awesome. For a tanky monster, the fact that he can heal by 50%, the fact that if you have this monster at rank 3, you have area life regen, so he already heals by 25%, which means in a turn, it's possible for him to heal 75%, and he also removes negative effects. So maybe this monster was possessed, and you have a self skill that he utilizes. Maybe this monster had Burning, Ignite, Sunburn, like all of these dots, and he can remove them and heal. So fantastic skill, you're definitely going to want to run this on a completely tanky build. Money Can't Burn Out, deals heavy thunder damage to an enemy, applies torture immunity. Oh, I remember talking about this. I love this. This monster can literally give himself torture immunity, which is like the biggest hindrance to taunt monsters. So again, there's going to be a comparison between Daedalus and Mr. Beast. I can already tell you off the bat, I am a huge fan of Mr. Beast's skill set. I think it's far superior to that of Daedalus. Like the fact that you can apply torture immunity, and you already have your Umbrella Hardened trait, it's awesome. A permanent stun immunity, a life regen to help you out, that's great. And like really showing to the nature of Mr. Beast, it's not like a self-torture immunity. You know, we've seen a lot of monsters where it's like, applies life regen to himself, applies skill mirror to itself. Mr. Beast is like, I'm gonna give my whole team an area life regen at the start of the battle, and I'm gonna give torture immunity to my whole entire team. If you've ever battled mythic monsters that have torture immunity, specifically like Abysmus, it is so hard to take them down with brute force. So torture immunity is amazing. Tier 1 skills are pretty darn good, I would say. Moving on to Tier 2, we have Let's Buy Everything. Applies Skill Mirror to itself, applies Protect Positive Effect to itself. I love Skill Mirror. The difference between Skill Mirror and Damage Mirror, for those of you that may not completely know, is that Skill Mirror will reflect the skill that gets dealt against you. So for example, if the enemy does a skill that does AoE Freeze, and you have Skill Mirror on, you reflect AoE Freeze. Damage Mirror only reflects the damage. So for example, if the enemy monster does a skill that does AoE Freeze, and the skill dealt like 100k damage will go crazy, you would reflect the 100k damage, but you wouldn't reflect the freeze. But this is cool because you also apply Protect Positive Effects, which means the only way for the enemy to remove your skill mirror is to remove it twice. First, they need to remove the positive effect protection, then they need to remove the skill mirror. And this will be significant when we talk about skills group 3. But before that, Free Life Potion deals moderate physical damage. It says physical even though it says thunder, so that'll be interesting. I think it will be physical though. If you see right there next to the 2 and the 36 stamina, it says Thunder. But deals moderate physical damage to enemies, applies life regen to all allies. So you have another life regen skill. You honestly probably won't be running this skill even on a tanky build just because you have a huge diverse skill set to choose from. But it is an option if you want it. But moving on to tier 3, the most protectful, applies Mega Taunt to itself. Wait for it. Applies Mega Taunt to itself, gives 1 extra turn to itself. That is great, because immediately what you should be thinking is as soon as you apply Mega Taunt, you activate Let's Buy Everything, you apply Skill Mirror, and you protect it. So now, and remember, you're slow, you're not a fast monster. Now when the enemy goes, they have to attack Mr. Beast. There's no other monster they can attack. And whatever damage they deal against Mr. Beast, you are going to reflect the skill. So that's pretty darn awesome. That is pretty darn awesome. That is going to be my favorite combo. And it's interesting too because depending on who you're fighting, even when you activate your extra turn, right? There's anticipation is like the biggest issue to extra turners. When you activate your extra turn, if it's like let's go back to old days, Faraday. Faraday gets a turn in. Okay, you have Mega Taunt now. You're automatically protecting your allies. Faraday does an AoE, your Mr. Beast absorbs it all. And you guys are both Thunder based, so you're not going to take as much damage. And then you apply the skill mirror and the protect positive effect. And there you go. Maybe you remove negative effects and you heal by 50% if you need it, if you took a lot of damage, because you are going to get blasted with 3 times the damage. Right now in the game, the only mythic monster that has anticipation would be Miseris. So you do got to be careful with Miseris because Miseris can remove positive effects. So keep that in mind. If you apply Mega Taunt and you give yourself an extra turn and Miseris goes, Miseris can remove your Mega Taunt if he hasn't already used Dark Paradox. If Miseris already used Dark Paradox, then you know you can safely do the most protectful and then do Let's Buy Everything and you're good to go. So in a world of Mythics versus Mythics, this is going to be a deadly combo. If you're still battling legendaries, Ragnarök you kind of got to be careful with. He has skills that can remove positive effects. Typically though, I don't think he runs them. There's Hornet. Hornet can, I think, also remove positive effects, so you got to be careful for Hornet. If you're still battling like Hukuai can't really do much. Maybe activate your cooldowns, so I guess he can still somewhat stump you. But yeah, at least you can protect your allies, which is a good thing. That's what you're going after. So the most protectful Let's Buy Everything combo, I think for a good amount of time in the game, that's going to be pretty darn awesome. It's going to be pretty powerful. The stuff you can do. The stuff you can do is going to be awesome. Even just being able to like turn transfer into Mr. Beast and then doing different stuff is going to be quite cool. And then the last skill, Unlimited Gems card, deals moderate thunder damage, apply shock. To be honest, you probably don't need that skill. Again, there is an advantage to shock, but most of the time you won't need it. It is funny though, because if Mr. Beast was to battle Mr. Beast, if you were to run million gems and shock a Mr. Beast, then that would prevent him from utilizing the extra turn and he would only have the Mega Taunt. But yeah, overall, I gotta say, I am super impressed with the skill sets. As far as comparing him to Daedalus, yes, the biggest disadvantage to Mr. Beast is he does not start off with Mega Taunts, but I think his skill set more than makes up for it, like significantly so. And I mean, like look at it, he has area life regen at the start of the battle, so even if you've already taken damage, the minute you do the most protectful and you get your Mega Taunt, you're going to heal by 25%, thanks to your life regen. I don't think I've talked about the ultimate. I will eat your cookies, I love the ultimate name. Removes positive effects from all enemies, deals heavy thunder damage, applies shock and bleed. So not really a tanky ultimate. If anything, you can kind of make the argument for bleed reducing damage output, but not really a tanky ultimate. So let's talk about how to ruin this monster. I think there are several ways to ruin this monster because of his skill set. One of the most obvious ways is you go 3 team speed. Okay, you go 3 team speed and you just have him to go last in the turn order, set up that Mega Taunt when you need it. Another way is to do 2 team speed and a single speed. And you have them go a little faster than last in the turn order. Maybe you have a third monster going last in the turn order, and then you just have Mr. Beast, because you don't want him too slow, so you give him a single speed. Another thing you can do, and probably what you want to do, is you definitely need a single life on this monster because he's tanky, he's meant to take hits. So single life, single speed, team speed. You could also do 2 speed and a life, and that's what I might consider, because your plan might actually be, I want my Mr. Beast to go first in the turn order. So think, for example, Mr. Beast with 2 speed and a life, and then an ally, maybe your Denier, right? Maybe you have Moonhaze or someone with 3 team speed, and then you have an attacker with 2 team speed and a strength. That could work. Have Mr. Beast, even though he's slow, have him go first in the game, just so you can set up the Mega Taunt at the start of the battle. So that's another thing you can do. You can also play around with Rainbow, Strength, life, and speed. And the reason you can do that is because of the skill mirror combo once again. So you can kind of even take the argument, make the argument for a 2-strength speed build, and again, everything relying on Mr. Beast going first, setting up the Megaton skill mirror, that way you absorb everything and reflect everything, and you deal damage with the strength. So it's funny because he's not using his own skills to deal damage, he's only using the skill mirror mechanic to deal damage. So you obviously have to watch out for cooldown activation, because that pretty much stumps you. All of your main attacks have a cooldown, and you have to watch out for monsters that can remove your effects right away. There are mythic monsters that can remove positive effects twice, so you have to watch out for that. But other than that, skill set wise, I think Mr. Beast is super versatile. So I know for a fact I'm gonna have a fun time playing around with him for offense. For defense, I don't know how effective he'll be. I think part of the fact that I think on defense he might not be as effective, but on offense he's gonna be so fun to play with. There's gonna be different rune setups. I might even try 3 speeds just to Megaton at the start of the battle. If he dies, I could always resurrect. Like, the amount of things you're going to be able to do is going to be awesome. Him and Miseris, for example, if Mr. Beast dies, bring him back with Miseris. Miseris also has a 50% healing skill. Like, the synergies you're going to be able to create are going to be phenomenal. So I am pretty darn excited for this monster. So hopefully this video made you excited as well. Remember, he is the free-to-play Legends Pass monster, so all you need to do is be active in the game, and you will 100% get Mr. Beast. So those are my thoughts on this monster. I can't wait till I test him out and play around with him, because there's just so much I want to try. So now I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Mr. Beast? Thank you guys very much. Best of luck to everyone out there, and remember to subscribe.